I've been using this for more than a week now since I received this, maybe a little bit more than a week. And this is the Lenovo Yoga Slim 7i Aura Edition. Now, I got to look at this back at IFA in Berlin. And first time I looked at it and I said, what the hell is Aura Edition? Well, it's a collaboration between Lenovo and Intel where they included certain features in it, like you can tap your phone on the side of the unit and that will transfer over the photos and files and so forth. It works pretty seamlessly once you set it up on your phone and on the device. And I think it worked pretty well. Nice continuity there. But as far as the laptop itself, this is probably one of my favorite, if not the favorite of 2024, and for good reason. Now, this display is 15.3 inches. It's a high-res display. It's got a high refresh rate, 120 hertz. It's got a really nice keyboard, those familiar smile-shaped keys we know and love from Lenovo, an all-metal premium build, and some really nice speakers on here. Now, it's not an OLED display, but there is a variant that will be, depending on your region, an OLED display. But I think there's some benefits to being IPS here. The fact that you're not going to have to deal with any screen burn-in, the fact that you don't have to deal with PWM. I think this is a really excellent IPS panel. It's got great coverage of the color gamut. It's color accurate. So this can really do the job for pro work in terms of color grading, Lightroom, Photoshop, and video editing and stuff like that. You can definitely use this panel for those tasks. And I think it's a nice overall laptop. Now, it's running the Core Ultra 7 256V. That's 16 gigabytes of RAM. It also has a terabyte of storage. Now, one of the things I'm really loving about this is its battery life. This has some pretty phenomenal battery life. We'll get into the numbers in the review. The Lunar Lake processor, the Core Ultra 7 256V, is very good here. It's got pretty good overall performance. Now, we're going to see less multi-core performance year over year. That's because it has 8 cores and 8 threads. Yes, you're getting less, but what you're getting is more in terms of efficiency and extremely great battery life. We're going to get into the numbers and more in this review. Hey everybody, it's Andrew, and this is the Lenovo Yoga Slim 7i Aura Edition here for 2024. Coming up. Now, before we get to the unit itself, I just want to let everyone know I'm not being paid or being sponsored by Lenovo. All the opinions you're about to hear are my own, and Lenovo is not getting copy approval. This review unit is on loan from Lenovo, and once this review is done, I'll be sending it back. Now, you could pick up the Yoga Slim 7i Aura Edition over at Best Buy. There are 2 SKUs, one for 16 gigabytes and one with 32 gigabytes. It comes in at $1299.99 for the one that I have here. That's 16 gigabytes of memory and a terabyte of storage in the Lunar Gray. And of course, for those interested, I'll leave links for everything you see here today in the description below. Now, you're looking at an all-metal design. It's thin, it's light for a 15.3-inch device, so very portable, and the overall build is excellent. But there is one issue that I did encounter here. When put on a desk, I noticed that it would give a little bit on the right side there. It's uneven, and I'm not sure what's going on in terms of that. I'm not sure if this is a one-off or other people are experiencing that. Please let me know in the comment section below if you are experiencing this. I will let Lenovo know. Now, when it comes to the ports, on the left side, you get an HDMI 2.1 port, you get a USB Type-C Thunderbolt 4 port that is full function, and you get a 3.5 millimeter microphone headphone combo jack. Moving over to the right side is the kill switch for the webcam, your power button, which I'm not crazy about the placement. I kept accidentally hitting it. Not a good placement there. A second USB Type-C Thunderbolt 4 port that's also full function, and a USB Type-A port. I would say overall a very good port selection. Notably missing, there's no SD card reader, and I like the fact that the 2 USB-C ports are split up, one on each side, so overall that's good. Just wish there was that SD card reader. Now, when it comes to performance, this Lunar Lake processor, the Core Ultra 7 256V, certainly has less multi-core performance, and that makes sense. Why? Because this has 8 cores as opposed to the 16 cores we saw on the 8 series last year, and it only has 8 threads as opposed to the 22 threads we got with Meteor Lake. It makes perfect sense to see less multi-core, but single core is definitely improved year over Meteor Lake, and that's a big improvement, and that's where you're going to see the big benefit in terms of everyday use, Microsoft Office, email, web browsing. That's the benefit of the better single core performance. But where we're seeing a really big increase here, or nice improvement year over year, is the integrated graphics. The Intel Arc 140V graphics are a step up over the Intel Arc graphics for Meteor Lake. And as you can see, the Wildlife, the Firestrike, and the Time Spy scores are really, really good here. And certainly this, you can game on this. It's not a gaming laptop per se, but if you play with some of the settings, you can get some really playable frame rates. So really good job here. Now you can do some light 4K video editing. Of course, I wouldn't do some heavy 4K video editing. I'd look with something with a discrete GPU for that. But for as integrated graphics go, this is one of the best out there, if not the best so far here in 2024. Great job in that department. And when I ran the Time Spy stress test to see if this will thermal throttle under heavy load, it got near the passing score of 97%, just shy of that. And that means it detected virtually no thermal throttling under heavy load. That's pretty good. Surface temperatures remained relatively cool throughout, even under maximum load here, pushing this to the limits. Never really got overly hot. That's pretty good. The underside never got overly hot either, so very good in terms of the surface temperatures. And when it comes to the fan noise, the only time you'll really hear the fans come in is when you're really pushing this under heavy load. But doing everyday tasks like Microsoft Office, email, web browsing, the fans would come on very, very seldomly, and if they do, not very loud. Overall, good job in that department. Now let's take a peek at the internals here. You'll notice that 70 watt-hour battery. We'll get into that in just a moment. And by the way, it's really, really good. But before we get to that, notice the two fans for the cooling we just talked about. And the RAM, of course, is integrated into the system on a chip here with Lunar Lake, so not upgradable by the user. Now you can get this with either 16 or 32 gigabytes of LPDDR5X RAM running at the 8533 megatransfers per second. And of course, that's pretty fast. I have the 16 gigabyte model here with my review unit. And as far as the SSD, it uses a small form factor SSD, the M.2 2242, and that 1 terabyte SSD has some pretty decent reads and writes, certainly fast enough for what you need this laptop to do. And of course, that is user upgradable, so if you need more storage, you can expand it out and change it out yourself, which is always welcome in my book. And it has Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 5.4 combo card that is soldered into the motherboard. Not upgradable by the user, but good to see Wi-Fi 7. And I'm happy to report both the Bluetooth and the Wi-Fi are working flawlessly. No issues with either one. All right, let's talk about the star of the show, and that has to be the battery life. It's pretty amazing here, folks. We're looking at 22 hours and 5 minutes on the Modern Office test. We're looking at almost 24 hours of video playback, 23 hours and 41 minutes. That is simply phenomenal. Over 3 hours in gaming. So this is a really great battery in terms of longevity. Now, 70 watt hours is good here, and I will say in real-world usage, no problem getting anywhere from 10 to 12 hours, probably more. It all just depends on what you're doing with this laptop. Remember, everybody's use case is a little bit different, but your mileage may vary. Now, it does come with a 65 watt USB Type-C charger. It's pretty travel friendly and compact, and it charges really quick. So overall, a really good solution when it comes to the battery and the charging. Now, if you caught my review of the Yoga Slim 7X running that new Qualcomm Snapdragon X Elite, that had an OLED display. It was really good. This one will come with an OLED display depending on your region, but here in the US, I have the IPS version. It's 2.8K, 2880 by 1800 LCD panel, 120 hertz. 500 nits of brightness. Actually, I measured above that. That's pretty good, of course. I got 538 nits, and it could peak as high as 600 nits. Actually, I saw over 600 nits, to be honest, so even better than expected here when it comes to the screen brightness. It is a glossy display, not overly glossy, so it just depends on your lighting conditions. I don't think it was too much of an issue here. Now, as far as the refresh rate, like I said, up to 120 hertz, so that means you're going to get a very smooth, very fluid experience. It's also got multi-touch support here, so navigating the OS with your finger, pinch to zoom, all worked really well on this panel. And it has excellent coverage of the color gamut. Check this out, 100% sRGB, 100% DCI-P3. That's really good. It's got color accuracy that you'd want. You got great contrast, good black levels, good white point, and you don't have any of the downsides of an OLED. No PWM or screen flickering, and you don't have to worry about screen burn-in. And just eyeballing this display, I actually thought it was OLED, to be honest with you, but it's not. It's IPS, and I think they did a terrific job with this panel. So this is the camera on the Lenovo Yoga Slim 7i Aura Edition here for 2024, running the brand new Lunar Lake processor. This is 1080p in terms of the camera. What do you think about the video quality? What do you think about the audio quality? Let me know. Now, I really like this keyboard. It has those familiar smile-shaped keys. They've improved this keyboard in terms of the key travel, now 1.5 millimeters, and I found it very comfortable for typing out long documents, emails, and the like. Your fingers never feel like you're going to bottom out, and it really was very good in terms of the tactility and the overall feedback. Now, as far as the backlight on it, that worked well. That's going to allow you to get work done in a dark room or a dimly lit environment, and it has a nice precision glass touchpad. It's not haptic or anything like that, but the responsiveness was very good when it comes to scrolling and doing all the gestures. Everything just seemed to work as you'd expect it to. All right, so we're looking at 4 speakers here, quad speakers, 2 woofers, 2 tweeters, Dolby Atmos to help with the spatial audio. Now, on the left, of course, is the Slim 7X running the Snapdragon X Elite, which had pretty nice sound for a 14-inch or 14.5-inch, I should say, laptop. And then, of course, this is a 15.3-inch device, a bigger, slightly bigger device, and that, of course, has the quad speakers. So let's listen to it, and let's see how the speakers are when you compare these two. A quick and dirty test, so let's give it a listen. Intel and Lenovo worked together on this Aura Edition, and it uses the Intel Unison to pair your phone to the laptop. And when you tap your phone to the laptop, when everything's all set up, it'll transfer your photos and files over pretty seamlessly. There are other features there that I will talk about in a separate video, but the overall takeaway is pretty good in terms of this Intel Unison in this Aura Edition. Nice work between Lenovo and Intel here. Okay, let's bring it all home. What do I think about the Lenovo Yoga Slim 7i Aura Edition here for 2024? And I gotta say, I really love this laptop. It's got a gorgeous 15.3-inch 2.8K LCD, 120 hertz display, improved single-core performance, improved integrated graphics. You got the excellent keyboard and touchpad. You get 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports, and I love the fact that they're split up, one on each side. It runs cool and quiet for everyday tasks. It's got outstanding battery life. It's got powerful quad speakers with Dolby Atmos, and the excellent build quality, mostly, as of course I pointed out, an anomaly maybe. I'm not sure in terms of the build quality, but it was uneven on my desk. Now the negatives here, the RAM is not upgradable since it is integrated into the system on a chip here. No SD card reader. That of course is a little bit of a negative here. And it's got the smaller form factor, M.2 2242 SSD, not the larger M.2 2280. Not sure if it makes a big difference, but I wanted to point that out. My review unit was uneven on the desk, as I pointed out, so I'm not really sure what's going on there, but I'm hopeful that it's just mine and not a problem in terms of the whole line. We'll have to see. But overall, I think Lenovo made an excellent laptop here for really everybody who needs it. Somebody like a student, somebody like a consumer or a business executive. You're going to get a pretty nice display here with great screen real estate. You're going to get all-day battery life, an excellent keyboard and touchpad, and overall mostly good build quality. But at the end of the day, this is a really good choice. It pretty much checks all the boxes that you'd want in a general purpose laptop, and I highly recommend it here for 2024. So please hit the like button, please subscribe, please share this video. Don't forget to leave a comment in that comment section below. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know if there's a device or something out there you think I should review. I'll do my best to try to make that happen. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and X, the platform formerly known as Twitter. And don't forget to check out my website, amdtechreviews.com. So until next time, this is Andrew, and I'll see you in the next video.